On the planet Vegeta, a child with his level of fighting completely null has been born, so he'd be considered low class. On that planet, he was not able to stay since the Saiyans were warriors who specialized in buying and selling planets. But for this elite, warriors were required, and a baby without any trace of energy would not serve for absolutely nothing. However, for his parents, it was a blessing, although the Saiyan named Bardock and Kakarot's father would realize that Frieza had a malicious plan.
Gine, we better send Kakarot towards planet Earth, since apparently Vegeta will be attacking Frieza. I can feel it.
What crazy things are you saying? We can't send Kakarot to another planet. He's just a baby, and being low class, he won't be able to defend himself.
If my hunch really fails, I'll personally go pick up Kakarot, since I don't want to leave him either. I want to train him to become more powerful, but we can't risk it. If Frieza plots something, I won't be able to defend him.
You know, Bardock, despite being a Saiyan who conquers planets, I can tell you're an excellent father. And it's okay, we'll do what you say.
That same night, Bardock was able to steal a ship in which they would send Kakarot to planet Earth, while Bardock and Gine watched their son's ship move away across the infinite space. On the other hand, while Kakarot would continue traveling at high speed, however, throughout Multiverse 7, beings in the form of balloons were in charge of uniting the demonic world with the outside world. And by a failure in Kakarot's ship, or rather the law of attraction, was able to absorb Kakarot, which, after the passage of several days all over the place, he was able to fall on the outskirts of a large castle. That's right, that place was divided into three, which were known as the third, second, and first demon world. In the castle that Kakarot had fallen, it had been the first demon world, the most powerful among the three. On the other hand, of the castle, a warrior would come out, realizing that a small baby from the outside world had fallen into the first demon world.
Wow, but if he's a being from the outside world, but how was he able to get into this place? That must be practically impossible because he has to get through the warp-sama.
The cries of the little boy would alert the police of the first demonic world, so Degesu would quickly take him with him. That's right, without anyone else knowing, he would begin to raise the little boy, because in that place the powerful Dabura reigned, which would not allow absolutely anything, and being the Demon King, he had the power to even end Kakarot's life if he wished. So Degesu, in one of the different alternate lines of his room, had been able to raise Kakarot. It had been several years since the arrival of Kakarot. However, at this time, the Demon King Dabura had disappeared, being summoned by a very powerful magician who was even able to put him to work for him. So at this time, he had decided on a new Demon King, being Gomah, who would take his place, but his right hand was Degesu, so Kakarot from now on no longer needed to be hidden in Degesu's room.
I can finally meet the first demon world. This'll be a lot of fun. I've always wanted to fight with someone else.
No, Kakarot, no! Because if the villagers realize that you belong to the outside world, it doesn't matter that the big Gomah protects you. A big revolution will be put together. Ha 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 ha! Don't worry, Degesu. Although I look like an evil being, I don't plan to let the children of this place get hurt. And since his birth, he has arrived here, so he is likely a baby of the demonic world.
Kakarot had gotten the permission to start exploiting the different worlds that existed in the demonic kingdom. On the other hand, on the outside, Bardock's feeling had been correct, since Frieza was able to destroy planet Earth. So after several years had passed, Kakarot's older brother Raditz had gone also to planet Earth in order to ask them to join him, so that the conquest of planets becomes much easier. However, by the time he had reached planet Earth, he would realize how everything was destroyed in its wake.
Apparently the useless one from Kakarot after all has been able to conquer this planet. I'm surprised, but I'll have to recruit him.
Raditz, with the help of his tracker, would go to where he perceived the most powerful energy on the whole planet, thinking that it was his brothers. But at the moment he arrived, he was surprised to realize that it was from an Namekian.
Apparently I've had too many expectations of Kakarot. But after all, he was not considerate or low class, so this capable Namekian that I ended his life. I don't know who you are talking about, but this very moment I'm thinking of finishing you. I thought I'd already finished with all the warriors on this planet.
Piccolo had thrown himself against Raditz. However, each of his blows was not capable of doing the slightest damage to Raditz. Piccolo had noticed this while he was trying to hurt him in the same way, being to fill an incredible panic. So Raditz, charging a little of his energy, was able to pulverize Piccolo.
That guy was nothing but a weakling. If Kakarot's defeated by that guy, it's better that he died, since he was with us wouldn't have been able to survive.
Raditz would rise to the atmosphere of the planet, and with a great attack he was able to destroy the entire planet in its entirety, leaving it where he was with his other companions were. On the other hand, returning to the demonic kingdom, Kakarot had been able to face several policemen, being considered someone from the outside world. However, every time Kakarot got into trouble, he always returned to his castle to hide, until one day Gomah would speak publicly to the whole demonic kingdom.
Well, I've gotten tired of hiding it. 12 years ago, a ship from the outside world arrived at the palace. So defenseless child arrived, and we raised him between Degesu and me. If you have something to say it now, since you also have children.
A great silence had invaded the whole demonic kingdom. On the other hand, since that day, Kakarot was able to move around the whole kingdom without any problem. One day, Degesu, along with Kakarot, had left for some mountains in order to explore new areas. However, Kakarot would leave for a small store where he would buy a few treats. And when he returned, he would notice how Degesu was very badly injured, while next to him, a large minotaur was watching to Kakarot.
That Gomah must be crazy to let a being from the outside world live among us. I can't allow that. At this moment, they will both die.
Kakarot, feeling an incredible anger, he would begin to expel an incredible power. Such was the power that this time the whole demonic kingdom would begin to tremble, while his hair would begin to turn a yellowish color. While rays came out of all his aura, at the moment of a great scream, Kakarot had transformed. And with a great anger, he had rushed against him, being able to knock him down without any difficulty. But at the moment of approaching towards Degesu, his body was expelling too much blood, for what Kakarot would quickly hold him, starting to fly towards the palace. Gomah was surprised by the new appearance of Kakarot, but it was not the time, so instantly Gomah would request the urgent presence of Arinisu. Instantly, a woman similar to Degesu would appear, but before saying at least one word, he would realize that his brother was on the verge of death.
I don't know what happened to you, but don't let yourself die.
Arinisu, being a great scientist in the whole demonic kingdom, was able to heal each of his wounds. Since apart from being a scientist, she was able to perform potions, so she was able to stabilize him. This time, he just needed a little rest more.
I really appreciate her, Nisu. If it wasn't for you, Degesu would have died.
Don't worry, Gomah-sama. I'm here to serve you, but I'm not going to let my dear brother die.
At that moment, they would observe how Kakarot had golden hair, but the instant they were about to ask him something, Kakarot would fall to the ground out of combat, since his body wasn't able to withstand all that power. After several days had passed in which Degesu had woken up, would be informed of everything that had happened. While Kakarot was still knocked out of combat, while every part of his body began to couple to the new power that he had unlocked.
So Kakarot's able to unlock a new power by seeing me seriously injured. I can tell that Kakarot really sees me as his father. We have raised him since Kakarot's a baby. Of course you look like his father, and much more you since you are the one who rescued him. He only returned the favor. I hope Kakarot's ready to recover to continue exploring new places.
3 more days had already passed, quickly, in which Kakarot was able to wake up completely, being greeted by Degesu, just like Gomah, but Gomah would take a much more serious stance heading towards Kakarot.
I, as the king of the demonic world, I order you to train much more. And I'll get you warriors and beings of great powers, so that you'll be able to defeat them.
For me, that would be not an order, since what I like the most is to become much more powerful. I want to be the next most powerful Demon King.
In that case, we'll start with your new training from today.
Several soldiers had come to the combat area, in which Kakarot's abilities would be measured by both of his masters. But these warriors were extremely weak for Kakarot, since he was able to defeat them without any difficulty. However, what Kakarot did not have was that the warriors were elite soldiers from all over the demonic kingdom.
There's no doubt that we don't know which race he belongs to, but I'm sure Kakarot's origin is of an incredible warrior race, as he adapts in an incredible way. In that case, I have the perfect opponent for you, and for you to be able to become much more powerful and get even one wish at a time.
Gomah was surprised since only he was able to understand the reference that Degesu had said.
Degesu, are you giving me to understand that you want Kakarot to face the Tagami? That's crazy. No one's able to beat him.
What? What are Tagami? That just makes me a lot more curious. I want to fight them.
Gomah-sama, don't worry. I'm sure Kakarot won't die. Even he, the Tagami, are forbidden to end the life of their opponents, as they're the only guardians of the Dragon Balls of the demonic world. I don't know, but I feel like it's a lousy idea. But if you know Kakarot's potential, that's fine. I'll trust you. But if something happens to Kakarot, I'm planning to finish you. The mighty Gomah-sama's apparently worried about someone else. This is amazing. But don't worry, I'm sure of Kakarot's potential. I know you won't be able to beat him at first, but it'll be the most difficult training of the demonic kingdom. In that case, go! But start with the weakest Tagami of all.
Both of them had left the first demonic world, so they are gone in the third demonic world, in which they are able to observe a metal warrior. Although they did not look very imposing, when Kakarot approached, he was able to create a giant sonic wave that was able to break Kakarot's eardrums, since some blood had come out of his ears.
This is the first opponent to teach Kakarot defeat, as he's able to beat every warrior we've put in front of him.
Kakarot, despite having received a little damage, without having started the combat, would prostrate himself in front of the Tagami, who would immediately stare at him.
But if you're as simple a child, this will be much easier than I thought. I hope you'll help me to stretch my muscles.
Instantly, both warriors began to move all over the battlefield. Although the battle seemed a little even, the Tagami was holding back too much. While, for his part, Kakarot was using every last drop of his energy. That's right, this time the difference in their powers was very evident, since Tagami without any effort was able to keep up with Kakarot. While for his part, Kakarot in each exchange of blows, he was very badly injured.
You never thought that a single warrior is capable of punishing me so much. This is crazy. His blows hurt too much. You don't know I have this necessary power to stand up to me. You'd better come back next time. What did you say? I'm not there yet.
Before Kakarot was able to finish his sentence, a big hammer by his side was able to knock him out of combat. So Degesu would approach to leave for the castle, in which again they would wait for his recovery. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.